We're excited to bring in Steve McBride, kicking off the show. He's the executive director of Pewabic Pottery in Detroit, a definite landmark in the city of Detroit, and such a gem for us to have in our backyard. Thank you for being with us, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are things going at the pottery shop during the middle of a pandemic? Because I know so much of what you all do there is focused on outreach in the community.
It really is, and that's been challenging. We're kind of back in business, but we were shut down for a couple of months and not able to do, any production work back in the spring. But we've gradually been able to open up, our production, our tile making and pottery vessel making, and with our stores open now, we've got slightly limited hours. We're open right now Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5 downtown, but we've been doing, a lot more online web sales. We haven't done, a lot of what we do here are like, tours and workshops and, outreach to the community. And that's been really challenging. That's been limited. But, we're back up and running, and it's a great time to come down. You can shop in the store, you can shop online. We offer curbside delivery. And, just a good way to preserve this National Historic Landmark pottery.
Yeah, you've been in business for well over 100 years, probably like 115, 117 years now that you've been. That's amazing to me, right?
It really is. I mean, there's truly nothing else like it in the country. I mean, there are other old historic potteries, but none that are still like a contemporary working pottery in their original facility. So this was, this building was built to be the pottery in 1907. Pewabic was founded in 1903. But we've been, making pottery and tile here ever since. So we're, I like to say we're Detroit's National Historic Landmark pottery. And so people, if you haven't been down here, people have at least seen Pewabic pottery. You see their tile all over the city and kind of across the nation. But, of course, out in your neck of the woods, Cranbrook is filled with Pewabic tile. But, you can drive Woodward Avenue in this area and you can see like 100 years of Pewabic history because, from the early days with the Guardian building and the DIA and the public library, right up through, we've done, Comerica Park, all the tiles you can see on the outside of Comerica Park are Pewabic. We did Little Caesars Arena a couple of years ago, all the tiles in the Q Line station. And we made the tiles, like, for example, Little Caesars Arena, we made all the tiles in our 1912 clay mixer, the same mixer that was used to make the tile for the Guardian building. So it's an amazing story. It's a really cool place. Typically people can come down here and you can, shop our store, and you would normally be able to like walk back and see, where we make things and how we make things. And we have limited access to our production area right now, just to try to preserve, safety for our staff. But you can still come down and you can see we've got, historic galleries upstairs where you can see some of the pottery from the early 1900s that was made here. You can shop the Pewabic store in our front retail room. And then we also have pottery and ceramic art from artists from all across North America. And that's all visible. And then, right now I'm sitting in our tile showroom, which is, a big part of what we do is make architectural tile. And so like the tile that you see downtown, we do a lot of work in homes and, businesses. And that's an area that has really actually been not seen any decrease, because as people have stayed home during the COVID crisis, I think they're looking around and saying, oh, yeah, I've always wanted to do a backsplash or a fireplace surround. And so, that part we've seen just a lot of interest in our architectural tile.
Yeah, I think people forget that you are a business as well. What do you think makes your shop so special that it's lasted all of this time?
I think it's a couple of things. One is it's just, there's a real craving for, people like knowing how things were made and knowing that they can see where it was done. When Pewabic was founded, it was the heart of the arts and crafts movement in America. And that was, really a reaction against the industrial age. And it was, an urge to get back to where you could feel the hand of the maker in the work. And, we see that now as there's just as much interest, we call it like kind of the reaction to the virtual age, because, people have so much, disconnect with what they use and what they make. And so to be able to come down and see things and know that, we're making it now with traditional techniques that we've been using for 100 years, and you can actually see where it's made. It's exciting to be able to connect that way with, where the work is created. And I think the fact that, there's such a strong connection with this region that people, know that they can travel around, they see Pewabic in different buildings and on the face of all over this city. and it just gives a real sense of connection with this is our pottery. This is the local pottery that has been serving this region for so long, and we just had tremendous support from the community.
I've been into so many abandoned houses in Detroit, and it breaks your heart to see so much of the beautiful pottery still in the homes. Everything around them has been stripped, but they haven't figured out how to get the pottery out, and it would be sitting like aligning the tile. And I think in those cases, you would see that this was a part of this community, but it was for everyone, not just the rich as well.
It really was. And, in the early days, dating back to the teens and the 20s, we did a lot of work in public schools. And so you can travel all around the region. You can see, public schools with old, iridescent Pewabic drinking fountains in the hallway. And, even in the early days, our founder, Mary Chase Perry Stratton, would go into the schools, work with the students. They'd help design these installations. And, it was really a connection with the students. We still try to do that today. So we do a lot of work for like decades. We've been working, in Detroit Public Schools. We're an official Pathways partner in the arts program. And so we work closely. We have, intensive workshops that we go in and work with students. And it's really about, connecting people with their own, creativity. And to me, that again is one of the exciting things about Pewabic is, it's so often you can travel downtown, you can, see Comerica Park and you see the beautiful details and the sculpted baseballs and things around the stadium. But to know that, oh, I know where that was made, and I can actually see how that was made, and we can go into schools and we can work with students and they can get a connection with that, and it just changes your relationship with your place. It changes your relationship with the city that you live in, and where some of these incredible art installations just don't feel so distant and removed anymore.
Plus, it makes people understand that, maybe that's a career path that they can go into. These paths are still available to people. This isn't something from the 1900s, and it's not something made by a big machine. That maybe it opens up an avenue to explore and spark that creativity, especially in the younger generation.
Absolutely. And, in all ages. I mean, we've got our education studio right here on site where we teach classes. And we've had, a number of students come through over the years that, will come through, take classes for a while, and then open their own studio. And there are actually some, big tile studios and independent artists that, have gotten their training right here at Pewabic.
So are those classes still being offered? I would imagine they're on hold right now. But are you guys trying to do anything virtually to keep the interest alive?
We've done some virtual classes. We've had like an online Google Classroom and virtual classroom for our students. Right now, we've implemented a lot of things to try to make it possible to continue work during this pandemic. So we've reduced the number of wheels in our classroom space, and we put in plexiglass dividers, and we've limited. Right now, we're offering kind of a limited opportunity of kind of independent study. So we're not offering full classes, but we do let some of the students that have been taking classes here, come in for 3-hour blocks, and then, in very limited numbers and spaced with plexiglass dividers. So we're doing some of the education that we've offered in the past, but we're hoping to get classes back up and running, depending on how this pandemic pans out, hopefully by the winter time, we'll be able to begin offering classes again.
Now and in more normal times, Steve McBride from Pewabic Pottery, Executive Director of Pewabic Pottery. Who is able to take these classes? Are these open to the general public? Are these those that maybe are training to be pottery artists at Pewabic? Who are these classes open to, and how do people get involved?
These are open to the general public. So we, typically we would offer 8-week classes, and we offer them year round. So you just go on our website, www.pewabic.org, and you can, register for an 8-week session. And then, we've had students that come in, brand new every term, and we've got some that have been taking classes for years. And it's kind of just fits, people's, what their needs and interests are. We have, wonderful teachers. A lot of our teachers are, artisans that also make Pewabic ware. And so it's a good opportunity to kind of see how we do things. We also offer some one-shot options. So we typically would do something. Again, this is not right now, but hopefully, as soon as we can, we'll be offering again our what we call Friday night out, where people can come and do a class where they can just come and learn how to make a tile the way we traditionally make tiles. They'll learn how to press an art tile and then glaze it, and then get a memento to take home with them. And it's a wonderful way just to try it out and see how you feel about it. We do, when we get back to full operation, hopefully we'll have tours again. People can come. We do a self-guided walking tour where people can go through and just see the production area and see how we make stuff. And then we also do docent guided tours for minimal cost, where people can come and experience, kind of get the history of the place, and then talk to some of our makers.
Steve, you had mentioned that your retail side is actually up because so many people are spending more time at home. And I will say, because I want to replace the entire tile back in my home, I'm driving my husband crazy with that because we just put it in a few years ago. But of course, I want the new updated subway tile that is so popular right now. Do you think people being at home and watching so many of these home improvement shows is sparking interest in trying to redo some of the rooms in their home?
I'm sure it is. And I think people have really, one thing that this the stay-at-home lifestyle is caused is people are really paying a little bit more attention to their surroundings. And yeah, I think there's been a lot of interest in the DIY improvement shows, home improvements. And of course, Pewabic was on This Old House a few years ago, and Under the Radar, Michigan. And so, we had people come in and kind of showcase to the world what we do here. And yeah, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to think about okay, if I'm going to be spending so much more time in this space, what's going to make it more inviting and more inspiring. And so we get people that have said, they've been dreaming about a Pewabic fireplace or, Pewabic backsplash, or they wanted to redo their floor, and they've been doing this thinking about it for years, and now's the time to actually pull the trigger.
So when they come into your studio, or even do I would imagine you can do a virtual consultation as well, do they help design the backdrop that they want, or is that pretty much put together by your team?
No, it's a collaboration. So we've got a team of designers, and so you can learn about it by going onto the website, and we do virtual, we can do video consultations, phone consultations, in-person consultations. We even have a beautiful courtyard, so while the weather's still nice, people can sit and meet out in our courtyard and talk about what they want. And so customers, will come in and just talk about what it is that they're looking to do, and talk. We offer the first hour consultation with our designer is free. And then, if you decide to move forward, then we'll do a design, and it kind of sometimes goes back and forth, and then, eventually come up with a design that is the dream design for the client, and then we'll move forward to make it. And everything is made, from scratch. So, once we get the design, then we actually start making the tile and firing the tile and glazing the tile. And then either, people can come and do curbside delivery, or we can do shipping. We do tile for all over the country. We ship nationwide, and Pewabic is best known around Detroit because of all the installations we've done here. But we've done tile installations, some of major tile installations. The biggest one Pewabic ever did is the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington D.C. That was a project that took 7 years to complete. It's the old domes of the Crypt Church. But we've done tile in Shedd Aquarium in Chicago and the Nebraska State Capitol. And of course, a lot of it is you can come in and just, check out the beautiful pottery, pottery and art tiles that we offer in our store, and check out the ceramic art from other artists from all across North America. So it's a great way to, think about, the things that make your day a little bit more pleasant. And so we always believe that a little art in your life makes it a little richer.
Steve McBride with us, the Executive Director of Pewabic Pottery, joining us on the Oakland County MegaCast this morning. Steve, just another couple of minutes with you, another few minutes with you before we have to let you go. Is there anything else about Pewabic that you would like to tell our audience today, or any other important information that they should know before we say goodbye?
It's just, one of the things that we've seen is there's, a lot of interest in supporting kind of local businesses. And you don't really get any more local than Pewabic. We've been making pottery and tile in Detroit since 1903. We were founded the same year as Ford Motor Company, if that kind of puts it in context. We've been operating as a nonprofit since 1981, an independent 501c3, but we still, make, pottery and tile, and you can go online. We offer, most of what we do. You can see kind of what's available on our website, and come down and see the beautiful work in person, or you can shop online. We can ship, or you can come for curbside delivery, or just come to the store and pick up. It's a great way to support Detroit and an authentic Detroit legacy. It's been challenging. Last year we had over 52,000 visitors. So we don't, right now we're certainly not having the foot traffic that we would normally have, which is, causing, some financial challenges. We don't have, as strong a retail stream. Typically we're a nonprofit, but, over 75% of our budget comes from earned revenue from the pottery and tile that we make and sell. So it's hard in that respect. And so, any support that people can do is wonderful to help keep this organization going. So it's, we do somewhat joke, say this isn't our first pandemic, because Pewabic was around, back in the pandemic of the early 1900s. It's, survived, the pottery has, withstood the Great Depression and, two world wars. And so it's like gotten tremendous support, but, it's like that's really a legacy and a testament to the support that we've gotten from the community. So we appreciate everybody that has, come in to shop, joined memberships, made donations. So just to keep this tradition going, we appreciate everything that people have done. So whether it's shopping, becoming a member, making a donation, just go online, check it out, and come on down and visit the store.
Steve, we are going into the holiday shopping season. Prime is kicking it off a little bit earlier this year. I would imagine this is a great gift for someone, especially for relatives that maybe grew up in Metro Detroit or the Detroit area, to send to them. I know that a couple years ago you did one that marked Eastern Market. Do you have any new designs coming out to kind of, highlight Detroit this year, that for the people that collect the tiles, for them to try to get their hands on?
Yeah, and in that Eastern Market tile is part of our what we call the Postcards from Detroit series. And so in that series, they're beautiful, like 5x7, hand painted tiles. We've got the Belle Isle Bridge, we've got Eastern Market, we've got the Guardian Building. We just released one this year on the DIA that's just a beautiful tile. It's the facade of the DIA that's just the thinker out in front. We've also got some beautiful like Michigan tiles. We've got postcards from Michigan tile that's the Sleep Bear Dunes. So they're really, and we've got a new Motor City tile for car lovers. So it really is a great Detroit gift. And like anything from a coffee mug to one of these beautiful Detroit art tiles to larger. We offer some beautiful like framed one of a kind art tiles. Lamps. I mean, just it's really, there's a great variety of things to do, but it all represents this Detroit legacy.
And quickly give out your website for people if they want to order something.
Yeah, it's www.pewabic.org. So PEWABIC and then ORG.
Quick and easy. Steve, thank you so much for being with us. It's been great speaking with you, and we wish you all the best of luck, because you are an iconic part of Detroit and our history, and we're wishing you and your team the best as we continue to navigate this pandemic.
Well, thanks so much. It was fun being here.